Good morning, beautiful people. This is Nisa Andrus, Awakening the Fractured Mind. Today, I want to talk about meditation. And I want to talk about my first attempts and what a debacle it was. And to give you some tips, some reassurances that meditation is achievable for anyone and everyone. For me, in the beginning, I remember hearing, reading, meditation. You want to feel more whole. You want to feel more happy. You want to get in touch with your higher self. Meditate. And I was like, okay, so let's meditate. And I remember many of my first attempts sitting there, okay. So I think when yogis meditate, they sit with their legs crossed, Indian style, right? Okay, so I'll sit down and cross my legs. And I was like, wait, so do they put their feet on top of their legs? How do they sit like this? This is really uncomfortable. Maybe I need to stretch first before I can properly meditate. And my mind was very busy. And a lot of chatting up there, distracting me, not being able to be still, be silent. My mind would drift to, oh, I guess, okay, before I go to bed tonight, I want to do the dishes. I need to do 2 loads of laundry. This is what's going through my mind while I'm trying to meditate. What is my friend doing this afternoon? Oh, I should be doing this. And then I try to bring myself centered. I try to still my mind. And my mind in the beginning, and I wasn't aware of this, it was quite a distraction. It's almost as if my own mind did not want me to start walking down this path. So for me, in the beginning, I was doing a lot of reading on a lot of subjects, one of which were gems. I had discovered, and I don't know how I got interested in it. Even at the time, I didn't know why I was so drawn, but I started acquiring gemstones. And I realized if I held one gemstone in one hand, I could feel the energy, the vibration. If I held a different gemstone, I could feel the difference in that energy and that vibration. And then I started reading a book about gemstones. And one day when I was reading it, I came across a guided meditation. It was spelled out, it was typed out. And so I used it. And it was my first, at the time, it was quite a success. Right now, my meditations are much more effective and much more still and quiet. So I might recommend to those of you struggling with developing a meditation habit, a practice, a routine in your life, start with a guided meditation, whether you find that in written form, or I ultimately stumbled across some people that were doing recorded YouTube videos, guided meditations, and those were incredibly effective for me because it allowed my conscious mind and my subconscious mind, my ego, to focus on one thing and start quieting the rest of the chatter that was going on in my brain. And that was the beginning for me. Another thing I heard in the beginning, oh, breathing's important. A lot of different opinions on how long do you inhale? How long do I hold the breath? How long do I exhale? How long do I pause? And what I have found is just a very relaxed, loose body and a natural inhale. Nothing dramatic, nothing deep, just so I do a full inhale, I hold it for 1 minute. I do a slow, natural exhale, I hold for 1 second. Did I say 1 minute? I meant 1 second. And those 1 second pauses is what myself and many other people refer to as the still point. People may not call it a 1 second pause, but it is that still point. And in that still point is where we can start lulling that ego, that subconscious mind, into kind of a nap, to be more quiet, so we can focus on the present, not yesterday, not last year, not what you have to have done by next week or a deadline by 10 o'clock tomorrow. It is this moment. Nothing else matters. This present moment. And that was another thing that confused me in the beginning, is this present moment being conscious. Well, truly, this moment, this second right now, this second. This is the now. And in the now is where the magic of meditation is. And if you can still your ego mind and truly be conscious in your heart center, this is where things start to happen spiritually. This is where awareness starts to expand. This is where you find healing. This is where you find the love and the oneness. And you start reuniting with aspects of yourself that have been dormant, that have been asleep, not awakened, wounded, not healed. It's topics that I'll go into in further detail, but just, we need to talk about the veil and our perception of the veil. But for now, what I want you to focus on is meditation, because it truly is the beginning. It is the path that's going to open up all of these doors for yourself and from yourself. And I know with a very busy ego mind, I was constantly looking outside myself for the truth, for the answers, whether that was reading a book. I even looked into tarot cards and psychics and horoscopes, astrology, YouTube videos. And always my deepest revelations, my deepest sources of truth occurred from myself, in myself, and for myself. The answer for each of us is inside of ourselves. And when we're drawn to reading and looking outside of ourselves, it is our minds distracting us from our heart and our spiritual path. The mind actually plays a very small role in awakening. And I found for me, I remember the day I realized that it was actually an obstacle. What I prided most, what I thought was my great strength, which I thought was superior and why I could do the things I do in life, it was all based in the mental. And I had an overdeveloped ego. I had an overactive mind. We'll talk later about how masculine energy is very mental. Feminine energy is very heart-based. Left hemisphere, right hemisphere of the brain. And even as a woman, to be so logical and analytical, I was conforming to a world that masculine energy had been misused. It's out of balance. And I'm not talking about the war of the sexes that culturally, societally, that we've dealt with in our country and our world. I'm talking about energy. And your energy